Your voice, your vote. We are just 6 days away from Election Day, and for Memphis voters especially, there are some very controversial measures that you're going to be asked to vote on at the polls. Thanks for joining us. I'm Richard Ransom.
And I'm Pepper Baker. There are 6 referendums altogether. One asks if Memphis mayoral candidates should have to live in the city. Another asks if city council should decide the salaries of city leaders, including their own. And a third referendum would establish a runoff election for mayor if no candidate gets 50% of the vote.
There are also 3 gun safety questions. One would require gun owners to have a permit to carry. Another would ban assault rifles. And a third asks if a red flag law should be in place that would take guns away from anyone diagnosed to be mentally unfit to carry. That is a lot to take in, but one South Memphis church is hoping that it can help that process by breaking it all down for voters. Our Stephen Reels is at Abyssinian Baptist Church in South Memphis for its Let's Talk Politics series. Stephen, these referendums, especially the last 3, have been quite a hot topic. How are church leaders trying to make them simpler for folks?
Well, Richard, you can see behind me, talks are about to start. People are making their way in, but the whole thing is a lot of these referendum questions can be really long, and if you're looking at it for the first time in the voting booth, that is going to take you a while to read. We've seen hold up lines before, so like you guys just did at the top of this show, the church is trying to break everything down and simplify it for voters and tell them what it'll mean if the referendums pass or don't.
One of the last days of early voting, Memphians line up at sites like the Glenview Community Center to vote on 6 referendums on the Bluff City ballot. 3 of them include the gun safety measures, which got some major pushback by state Republicans in the legislature over the summer.
They're going to get the letter saying you're outside state law, you don't have this capability, you have X number of days to fix it, and if you don't, we're going to withhold the state share sales tax.
They simply don't understand the law, and I'd like to give them free legal advice in this particular situation.
Following the state's decision to not challenge those referendums from appearing on the ballot, City Council members like J.B. Smiley have tried to gain support for them, sending out mailers like these to 75,000 voters, breaking down the legal talk and making the ballot questions easier to understand. Smiley tells me these referendums are like a poll for the city, and nothing would actually happen if the poll goes one way or another. But if Memphians support the gun reform measures, the City Council will draft a trigger law to put them into place.
This is step 1 in the process to saving lives in our community.
So as far as like how long that could potentially take as far as
Immediately for me.
And while those would likely be challenged soon after, Reverend Earl Fisher says the gun measures could give elected leaders more leverage against the state government in getting something passed.
But it's also helpful for local legislative bodies if and when they end up in court cases. If you put a referendum like this on the ballot and it comes back that this is what 75 to 80% of the people in this area want, then the people in Nashville really have to have an honest conversation about what local control actually means.
And Richard Pepper, this is actually the 6th session in their Let's Talk Politics series. The 7th one is actually going to be happening after Election Day, where they're going to be going over how to stay mobilized after the vote, even if things do end up going their way. It's just that important. But for now, live at the Abyssinian Baptist Church, I'm Stephen Reels.
Very important indeed. Stephen, thank you. Well, whether you vote early tomorrow or on Election Day, you won't need a voter registration card, but you will need a photo ID, something like a Tennessee driver's license, a passport, or a military ID with your photo.
A Tennessee handgun carry permit is also acceptable as long as it includes your picture. College student and photo IDs, though, that are not issued by federal or Tennessee state government are not accepted. That also includes library cards and driver's licenses that are issued by other states. On
Election Day, polls will be open at 7 a.m. Now, if you need help finding out where you can cast a ballot, we have that information for you right now on abc24.com.